Okay, I'm gonna leave some surprises, so I'm just gonna grab a couple of the cooler things that I wanna make sure I put into the video. Now, I think this would be cool enough just if you see, oh, it's a little like cake topper, bride and groom, vintage. Oh, that's kind of cool. But then it keeps going. And you see that you've got a tube, and the tube is filled with rice. So you've got a bride and a groom. It is actually screwed into this tube, and the tube has rice in it. Well, what is this for? Like, in case of emergency, break glass? No. Because you keep going, it's a plunger. We took the plunge.
Well, if you got a dollar, well, just lousy down. Know that I got rhythm that could suit your butt.
Hey, this is Patrick with Trusty Huckster Mercantile. Welcome to my channel, and welcome to a preview video. I've been trying to do more on my channel, and I always say it's going to be more than sales, but the sales are what has a clock on them. So what is coming up is Monday, November 22nd is the fourth Monday of the month, fourth Monday of November. And if you have been watching my channel for a while, you know that for the past year or two, I have been doing a live sale with Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop on his channel. And the theme of that is always Unbreakables. So the idea is ephemera, iron, wood, you know, basically things that can ship easily without breaking. Well, it's time for the Unbreakables to break the rules. It's the fourth Monday, which that actually is standard, but this is a month that actually has 5 Mondays in it. So it always seems like it's the last Monday of the month. It technically isn't. So we're doing the fourth Monday, as always, but Unbreakables are going to sell things that break. So coming up this Monday on Scott's channel, Old Curiosity Shop, 8 p.m. Eastern. The other rule we're going to be breaking is instead of doing a 2-hour sale, we're going to do a 3-hour sale. We will still have some unbreakable items. This is one of them, a Christmas. I'll show that in a second. But the biggest rule we're going to break is that we're going to start selling glass. Now, if you followed me for a while, about 5-6 months ago, I was on Scott's sale for our channel for a special sale where we were selling my glass collection and sold a lot of my Deco era flower frogs. Now back then, most of the frogs I was selling, I didn't want to sell with the bowls because the whole reason I like the Unbreakable sale is because I don't like to have to ship things that are breakable. But I'm perfectly capable of doing so, and I suddenly have tons of boxes from the move since I sold my house, and this doesn't frighten me as much anymore. So this will be one of the spotlight items that will be available during the sale with Scott on Monday. So this is a 3-piece flower frog. Now, if you're not familiar with a flower frog, let me take it apart. The concept of the flower frog is this piece here. It has little holes in it. Now, the biggest hole is where the figure sits, and I'll show that again in a second. But the idea is you would set this in the middle of a bowl. The flower stems would sit in there. You fill the bowl with water, and you would have a low floral centerpiece that has a figure coming up out of the middle of it. This one happens to be Walter & Sonne, so it is a German manufacturer. Absolutely gorgeous piece, and she is Lucretia. So that is who I am selling. So sorry, Lucretia, I've given you a good home for a long time. Now you need to find someplace else to live. So this is in the pink colorway. So you get Lucretia. Now she can stand on her own. I believe the way a lot of the flower frogs were sold back then is you could also just buy a standard base. So if you just wanted to have her as on your mantle or something, you could do, instead of a base that has the holes in it, you would be able to set her in just a standard base. But this one, because I was collecting flower frogs, you get the 2 pieces here. Now, this one is in pretty good shape. I thought there was a flea bite on this one, but I think that might be the one I'm keeping. There's a tiny, 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 tiny flea bite on the very edge, but you can't even see it. I only felt it when I ran my fingers across it. So it's in really good shape. She is also in really good shape. She doesn't, again, tiny flea bites around the bottom. So fantastic collection, because again, if you've been following me, this is my personal collection. Trusty doesn't carry crap. So I keep the good stuff. So this is being sold. And then the bowl, I'll be 100% honest, it is the bowl that I bought with her. But bowls, no matter who the glass manufacturer was, they jumped around. You know, you didn't have to buy her in a bowl, and sometimes you would have a bowl from somebody else. I do believe this is a Walter and Sona bowl. It's not marked in any way, but there is another bowl that is sold that is in a lot of pictures when you do find her online. That has this same alternating frosted and clear, frosted and clear. This one is a little bit more vertical. There's a little bit of a scallop, you know, coming off to the edge, but it doesn't drape back down. The other bowl that is definitely Walter and Sona, it's the Gorlitz pattern. It curves a little bit more, but it still has this alternating. That's why I think this is still Walter and Sona. But I don't think it matters. It's just letting you know I don't have any information specifically on the bowl. These are harder to identify. And it's not just frosted. There's actually a texture in the glass, but you can see you've got translucent and then more of an opaque panels going around. This is also in fantastic condition. Tiny, 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 some flea bites down at the bottom, but where it matters, all of the rim, everything, no cracks, no chips. She is gorgeous. Now, you know with Scott, if you've ever followed his sales and if you've followed me in the past as well, we're not necessarily selling cheap. So this is an expensive piece. I'm going to give it a fair price and see where the market takes it. So be aware, this is not something you're going to pick up for $10. I really debated letting her go, but I don't have room for her. I did end up keeping 4 flower frogs out of my collection, and those are now on display. She is the one that I like, but like a little bit less. Arabella was the one that I decided to keep, and I kept the animal ones too. So anyway, she is going to be one of the breakable items available at the sale. And there will be some, again, high quality items. This again, also for my personal collection. This is a Robert Henk piece of porcelain made in Austria. This is dated from late 19th century, probably maybe a little bit because of the daisies, probably more into like 1910, but definitely before 1920 because the area where these were manufactured became part of Czechoslovakia after World War I. So it says made in Austria on it. So you basically can date this to the latest part of the 19th century, early part of the 20th century. Again, part of my personal collection. I did keep a handful of these pieces. 2 of them are behind me. But this one is not one that, as beautiful as it is, the daisies do not speak to me. So this was part of a larger collection. It looked great when I had them en masse, but now that I'm just doing some individual pieces, this aesthetic I'm not keeping. I'm planning on selling the bulk of these at an auction house, but when we decided to break the rules, well, I will sell a breakable item. It's fairly large. I apologize, I don't have it here. It's probably 12 inches tall. This is all oversized, so maybe even 14 inches tall. So there's pretty good height on this one, and it is a fairly impressive piece. Perfect condition, no chips, no cracks, lovely piece of Austrian porcelain. I've got a lot of the breakable stuff up here. Well, I'll get this out of the way because it's sitting in the middle of the table. So this is one of the items that I was originally going to offer at the Unbreakable sale, thinking everything needed to be unbreakable. And it is obviously a Night Before Christmas edition. I thought it had a date on it, but the inside doesn't say. Oh, there it is on the front. 1947. Now, this is not for my personal collection, so this is not in perfect condition, but considering its age, it's looking okay. The artwork on here is fantastic. There's a little bit of damage down at the bottom, right along the edges. There's a little bit of tearing, a little bit of a roughness on here. But you know, if you want to prop this up in your window, if you want to frame this, this looks fantastic as is. If you look at the right angle, I'm not sure you're going to see it on the camera, a child wrote their name at the top of it in pencil. Cindy framed. Well, Cindy, going down in history. You can try and erase it. I'm not going to, though, because I don't want to mess up the dark blue, and really can't tell. I don't even see it in the picture right now. You just see it when you have to see it in certain light. But if you don't want to do the book cover, look at the inside. I mean, the artwork in this, they're full page illustrations on the beloved classic Night Before Christmas. It's fantastic. I'm hoping that somebody will give that a good home. A couple of other breakable items that'll be available. If you've been, again, watching my channel, I have been adding barware to my booth that I do at the Geneva Antique Market. But the Geneva Antique Market has very strict rules about having older pieces. Everything has to be prior to 2000. I don't think this is. I thought it was gorgeous, and I was going to go ahead and put it in my booth anyway because it's glass. You know, how you gonna prove? But just by the design, it's got this slender base to be able to pour it from. You got the pour spout on the side, and it comes with two drink glasses. So it's this beautiful little 3-piece set in this cobalt spiral glass design. I think it's gorgeous. It really won't be that hard to ship because these are pretty nice weight and it's a fairly thick glass. So I should have no problem doing that. Sometimes I get a little bit nervous with pictures, but again, this has some decent heft to it. I'm not overly concerned about the thinness of the edges. So I'm going to go ahead and make this available through that sale because I think I can ship that without any issue. Another item which I'm nervous about shipping, but I found a good box and I should just be able to pack the heck out of it. It is I'm gonna have to fix this again. There is a wedding image in here that has unfortunately separated from its back cover. So I will have to try and do a new adhesive to that. But it is a beautiful period wedding portrait. But what I'm selling is the frame because I'm not sure how can I do the glass so you can see it. It's a convex, it's a bubble glass. It's curved. Isn't that fantastic? So probably from the 30s. And I do think the image of the bride is maybe a little bit earlier than that, but I'd say 20s to 30s based on the chromo design, the colors that are put into that. It's got a nice silver tint to it. The back has just a piece of cardboard on it, so that's probably a little bit later, held in by nails. So I can slide the nails out. That's how I got the picture in there. I just have to attach it a little bit better. So I will do that before the sale. But, you know, I don't know if anyone really cares to keep the bride. You can put your own photo in there. But I just think the fact this glass is curved. Can you see it? Do I hold it like that? Can't really. So you have to trust me. There's a great curve on that. So that's another item that normally would never sell in an Unbreakable sale, but hey, we're gonna go crazy. Another item that I'm including that was going to be in the Unbreakable sale regardless, says right on here, they are unbreakable records, which to me is just a challenge for a child. Just gotta try harder. But they are photo images of trade records from their folk songs from the Record Guild of America. So you've got the Arkansas Traveler, Clementine, the Campbells Are Coming, Blue Tail Fly, Turkey in the Straw, Pop Goes the Weasel, Little Brown Jug, and the Mexican Hat Dance. So in some cases, you got to figure out who you want to put on display, but the artwork is so colorful. It's so crisp. The records themselves are in really good shape. I don't know how they actually play because they've got the surface on there, so I'm assuming it plays something, but I don't see grooves or anything. But it's apparently would play on a regular record. It's got a record player. It's got the little hole in there for the standard album. I'm not sure if I found the date on this one. It has a 2-digit zip code, so it's prior to 1963. The packaging, pretty rough shape, but the individual records, I think they're pretty cool. And I think people could do something creative with those, hang them on the wall, who knows. Another breakable item. This again was going to go to my booth, but I think it would be fun here. It is an alcohol bottle. The top comes off, there's a cork on it. So you've got a liquor bottle. And then these little cups that have days of the week. So you've got 6 cups, but a sign by the little drunkard hanging off the light pole, never on Sundays. So there's no place, and you can see it's not long enough to have a 7th cup regardless. So you never drink on Sundays. So I would say they're a little short to be shot glasses. or maybe I'd say they're even short to be a jigger. I think it's just more of the cuteness of it. Pass these out to your friends, whatever. I think it'd look great on someone's bar. Like I said, that's why I was going to go to my booth. But again, this is not going to be that difficult to ship. Fairly decent size. These all slide off the metal. Easy to wrap up, and I'm not worried about sending that through the mail. Similarly, this again would have gone into my barware collection at the booth. This, even though it's a barware piece, so it's odd to say, oh, I'm going to put my salt and pepper shakers in there. It is a 3-piece salt and pepper shaker, but you can see it is a donkey and a man with the bartender behind him, and then it says there is one in every bar. So we're going to assume we're talking about the jackass. But they come right off the little support. It sits on the ledge, and you can see the barkeep with some of the barware behind him. So again, I thought this would look fantastic in my barware collection, but it's a fun piece, and I haven't sold, because I've been doing Unbreakable stuff, I haven't really sold salt and pepper shakers much lately. So I thought he was a fun little piece, picked him up. We'll see how he does in the sale with Scott. A couple other, seems like I've got a lot of breakable stuff near me right now. This is in kind of a weird history thing. This is something I unearthed when I was moving everything. This is from my personal collection, but from my personal collection from when I was married, probably 30 years old now. It is a piece, it's a Lennox mantle clock. So the front, there's a little rubber little gasket on there. So it slides out, it's just battery controlled. Says right on there that even the works is Lennox. And then on the bottom, also Lennox. Our wedding china was Lennox. We had all kinds of Lennox stuff. We really liked that look, this cream, high end with the gold, gold accenting. Really liked that look. My wife's wedding dress was on display, and we had this on the table. It kind of was a whole vignette. Well, vignette doesn't exist anymore because I'm divorced. And it's a beautiful piece, got the acanthus design in it. Very breakable, but very easily shippable. So that's going to go into the sale. And didn't specifically pick it because of that, but because as I described it, I said it had the gold trim. If you like gold, I'm also getting rid of my all over gold collection. So most of these pieces were Stouffer pieces. This one was painted, the gold is painted over the maker's mark on the original piece of porcelain. But it is the rose and daisy pattern, which is one of the most common. But if you look really closely, if I can get the light to hit it the right way, check out that design in the middle. There's a basket of flowers in the middle. So this is probably dating to around 1900 to 1910. Which is when a lot of that all over gold was being done. These are Chicago-based. Picard and Stouffer were the two companies that I collected the most. This was definitely one of the two, but it was covered up. So the other pieces are going to go to an auction house. Those are all easily attributable. You can figure out who made them. This one, it's harder to figure that out, so it's going to be harder to find it online. So I'm going to sell it here. It's a beautiful piece. If you like the gold, the idea of decorating with gold, whether it's for the holidays or throughout the year, it's a gorgeous piece. The other thing, and I apologize, I'm doing this video on the weekend. I haven't had a chance to run to my booth. I'm going to pull out. I have a handful of butter pats left. I think I maybe have 5 or 6 left at the booth, and then I had this one that was here. I will be selling the rest of my butter pats. I'll just put them all together as a mixed lot. Start them at a really good price and see what happens. I love these. This one was here because I used to put my rings in it when I would wash my hands. I have something else for that now, so this has just been kind of laying around dormant. This one is one of the older octagonal ones. Most of them are the traditional butter pats. They're perfect for little votive candles. So whether, again, for the holidays throughout the year, or hey, use them for butter. Use them for your dinner table. There'll probably be 5, 6, maybe 7 of them. I'm not 100% sure, but they're all going to be vintage, and they'll just be done as a mixed lot. Another oddball piece, which when Raj saw this, he just wanted to know how quickly it was leaving the house. So it would have gone. Trying to pick him up. It would have gone to my booth. Instead, it's going to be sold in Scott's Unbreakable Sale. So it's a jug. It is a face jug. The top is taped on, just so it doesn't fall apart. It is not a cork. It is actually a pottery stopper, so it's not going to be airtight by any means. I would say it's not a professional piece. It's not even a studio piece. I think it was an amateur or a starter, because the bottom, it does sit flat. That's not a problem, but it kind of wobbles a little bit because you can see how curvy they made the bottom. So there's still plenty of surface area here, but if you wobble the table a little, it kind of like wibbles more than you really should. So maybe the maker was a fan of weebles, or just added to the quirkiness of that look. But just check out that face. I don't know, can you still call it derpy if you're talking about a jug? But it's got the weird eyes, it's got the big lips, got the very sharp nose, and the unibrow. So this baby is going to be part of the breakable sale as well. Now this is actually pretty heavy, a couple of pounds at least. But again, it's very thick. It's not gonna be an issue shipping this one. And we'll see how well it does in the sale. Okay, I'm gonna leave some surprises, so I'm just gonna grab a couple of the cooler things that I wanna make sure I put into the video. Now, I think this would be cool enough just if you see, oh, it's a little like cake topper, bride and groom, vintage. Oh, that's kind of cool. But then it keeps going. And you see that you've got a tube, and the tube is filled with rice. So you've got a bride and a groom. It is actually screwed into this tube, and the tube has rice in it. Well, what is this for? Like, in case of emergency, break glass? No. Because you keep going, it's a plunger. And if you look at the tag that's attached to the plunger, it says, "We took the plunge." So if you've got a wedding coming up and you need a gag gift for the bride, for the bridal shower or stag party, whatever it is, this is just, it was too weird to pass up. So it's gonna be a pain to ship this one. It's not heavy at all, and this is plastic, it's not glass. It's just, I'm gonna figure out a box to be able to put this in. Now, age-wise, it does have a UPC label on it, so the barcode, and it has a zip code, 5-digit zip code. So I would say, based on this, the way she's dressed, I would have said she was older. And literally, when I first saw this, it was sitting on this, but I thought somebody just kind of like propped it on there, and I tried to take it off. I'm like, hey, it's attached. Because I thought it was a vintage cake topper. That's really what it looks like. And the way she's dressed, I would have said she was 60s. So I don't know if she's maybe late 70s, but that's also, people were dressing in older styles, even in the 80s. I don't know, but that veil, I thought she was a little bit older, but because of that tag, I would say this is probably 80s. This is just goofy, and I thought it'd be a fun thing that we could just, I can't wait to see what the comments look like when we put this into the sale. Another fun item, this again was originally purchased specifically for the Unbreakable sale. It is a shelf sitter made out of wood. It's actually pretty heavy. It's a cat with blue eyes, I guess, not green. Kind of looks like a Siamese cat, but it's got blue eyes. So it does, let's see if you can kind of see it there. It does stick its nose is a little bit lower than the shelf. So the idea would be you would put it on the shelf and it would look down at you. I thought this was super cute. I'm not personally a cat person, but I love decorative objects, and I thought this was kind of quirky. Put it at the top of a bookshelf, somebody walks by not suspecting, they look up, cat's gonna be looking right at you. So I thought that was a fun one. The next item, I had to plug in to show you that it's actually gonna work. It is, let me find the lid of the box, the Massagette. This again would have been the Unbreakable sale. It is a hand massager. Now, according to the picture, you put it on the back of your hand, so not the palm. You slide the two springs and you can undo them to make them a wrap, but I'm just gonna slide it in really quickly. There is a power switch on the back. I already tested this. It didn't burst into flames, so I think we're okay. So I'm gonna do it, put it on again. So I don't know if you're just supposed to be massaging your hands or if you're then supposed to put your hand on somebody else's person and this is helping, pound into their hand. This is bizarre. So I did a little bit of digging. The company, the Massagette, once it gets going, that's really, okay, we need to stop that. John Oster Manufacturing. So I was able to look for the Massagette, but I couldn't really, they made many versions of this. This thing existed for a really long time, well into the 60s. But one of the things that I was able, and I love doing the research on stuff like this, one of the things that I looked at is, first, there's no place for a zip code. You have to mail this in, and the address and the place where you write your address, there's no place for a zip code. So that puts it before World War II. The other piece that's a tip is it is a postcard, and on the postcard it says 1 cent stamp. 1 cent stamps were only in existence through 1952. So it had to be prior to 1952. Because there's no zip code, it's probably prior to 1944. So I would say this is around the 40s, so maybe wartime era. You're not really sure. I can't specifically say, but you know, these are the paperwork that comes with it. There's a little hanging tag, the Oster Massagette, that comes with it, and you get the box with the lid, and so you get the artwork on that. It's just weird. I'm not sure what's going to happen with it. I'm not sure what the market is, but holidays are coming, and it does work, as I just proved. So you can suggest somebody give you a back rub with the Massagette attached to their hands and probably push you right out of the bed. And I'm going to stop there. I've got a couple other pieces, some more breakable ones, some unbreakable. And we'll see how long it goes. We've never done a 3-hour sale before, so we'll see how quickly we get through things. Maybe this is all I'm going to do. If you follow me on Instagram, I might post a couple other pictures because there is one item. You know what? Hold on. This is actually one of my favorite pieces. In my old days, when I had my own place and I was filling myself with items instead of love, I would have kept this for myself. I think this is gorgeous. I know that it's not necessarily the trend anymore to have these decorative porcelain objects, and the people call them dust collectors or whatever. This is actually a pitcher, so it is functional should you choose to do so. I just love the design to it. So first of all, the tree trunk is what you hold on to become a pitcher. But look at the chickadees that are attached to that. So this is probably from the 90s or the 2000s. It's marked on the bottom. I haven't researched it yet. Mark Pierce Chickadee Morning. There is a price tag on it, something that looks like maybe one of those price tags from Carson Peary Scott, $65.95 back in the day. It does have a production number on it. It doesn't look like it's a limited edition, but it does have a production number on it, and then a made in China sticker. But that doesn't detract from just, even if it does become a shelf sitter, I think it's fantastic. Or if you want to try and use it for a picture, it's functional. You could do so. I think this is gorgeous. So, but I am going to sell it because I don't need objects anymore. I have actually plenty of objects, but I am surrounded by love now. I don't need to replace it with something else. I just still liked it. I couldn't pass it up. So I'm going to include this in the sale. And I've got a piece of art pottery. I've got some seashells. I've got a decorative pedestal, marble and brass, some more glass, a tin, some more ephemera, an old Christmas issue of Ladies' World Journal from, I think it was 1914. I've also got a couple pieces for my personal collection. I had what do you call them? The villages, the Dickens villages from Department 56. No longer using that. My daughter doesn't want it, so I'm going to sell a couple of those pieces, see if there's any interest in that. So it's a mix. We're going to definitely take advantage of the fact that Unbreakables are breaking the rules, and we're going to see what we can do with selling over a 3-hour period. So again, join us, Scott and me, Monday, November 22nd, 8 p.m. Eastern, a 3-hour sale on his channel, Old Curiosity Shop. And I might, again, be posting some things. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, follow me there. I'll be posting some digital images. If you got any questions about what we've got, go ahead and reach out to me. Otherwise, please join us for the live sale, and we'll see how it goes. So thanks so much for watching the preview. Thanks for putting your trust in Trusty Huckster, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye.